right, everybody, we are back with KC Music Talk. I am here today with a bass player, guitarist, musician here in town, Jacque Garoutte. How you doing?
Great, great. Please have me out.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, thanks, man. So I met you at your guys' Sunday Jam.
Which one?
Yeah, the Knuckleheads.
Knuckleheads.
Yeah. This would have been 5 years ago or something. Yeah,
I've been there 9 years.
Yeah, wow, really? Yeah, that's cool. Your guys, this is a fun jam. I always have students on Sunday, so that's why I haven't been out for like 2 years to it, but definitely a couple years ago I came up, tried to come out as much as I can, and you guys are a good band. You run a good jam there.
Well, thanks. I mean, we've been at it a long time, and we hosted jams elsewhere too, but it's just a fun thing to do, and it's a great gig. And as well as being the house band or the jam band, we're kind of one of the house bands. Like, if there's a touring artist that doesn't have a band, Frank will book them, and we'll be the pickup guys.
Right,
we'll
sure.
learn their stuff. We got to play with Big Bill Morganfield, which is Muddy Water's son, and then his other son, Mud Morganfield. Played with him at the Thanksgiving breakfast dance.
That's cool.
Okay, so that's been really cool.
Oh yeah,
because
sure.
Bill has used us. We got to play Buddy Guys with him in Chicago, and played a festival in Atlanta with him, and a festival in Louisville, played Memphis in May, a bunch of cool gigs with the guy.
That's cool,
Great
man.
gig.
Yeah. And I guess I might start off with this, but you kind of play bass with them quite a bit.
Correct,
but,
I'm the bass player.
Yeah, but even last night when we were out at the Hideout, you're shredding up that guitar, man. How do you like that kind of switching back and forth?
I pose as a guitar player on occasion, yeah, and it's fun. I'm kind of obsessed with the guitar right now in my old age. I mean, I still practice the bass some. I don't practice very much. Usually when I have to learn tunes, but I don't sit. I've got this Jocko book that I've said, I'm going to get with it.
Yeah. That
it's
happens
hard.
with all of us.
Jocko licks are hard.
That kind of happens.
Yeah, it takes work.
Yeah.
My work ethic is.
But that happens a lot. I mean, we kind of in Kansas City, everybody likes to play kind of easier tunes, so we don't ever have to do anything. And so and we always there's a lot of people that got a whole lot of stuff they wish they could get to, so I mean, I think you're in good company there.
Yeah.
Basically everybody, I mean, everybody's always, there's
I'm not very studious in that respect. I listen a lot. And I go, wait. So I'm trying to get my head wrapped around some more West Coast jump blues style guitar.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get that under my fingers, and it's more like relax and be less repetitious and be more melodic, and play around the chord changes better instead of just blues lick.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So it's more like the chord structures that you're trying to get into more than like the tempo and the style, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm familiar with all that because of playing the bass lines and stuff, but still, even that, I could use some work on the bass lines. But still, I've been watching videos and whatnot. I wish I would have had YouTube as a kid. I ruined Steely Dan Asia trying to learn peg. But
Age is insane. Me and what's the keyboard player's name that was there last night?
Dave?
Dave, yeah, me and Dave. I was singing peg with him. That was kind of silly, but yeah. So from what you were just talking about of you listening a lot, you mentioned something to me last night about when you were like more of a kid, you did some sort of music and that really helped your ear. I can't remember what you were talking about.
I grew up in a Southern Baptist church, and I wanted to play the organ. I would sit there and watch the organ guy. He was kicking the pedals. It was a white church, and there was no guitars, no drums. The deacons were, but there was organ and piano and vocals. And so, but that Johnny Smith was his name, and it wasn't the famous Johnny Smith, but or Jimmy Smith is the famous B3 guy. but his brother was named Jimmy. But you know, but he was my first teacher because I wanted to play the organ. But the local organ teacher, Damaris Gaines, which is a fantastic harpist and piano player, she I later took piano from her at the college in Miami, Oklahoma. But she wouldn't take beginners, so I had to play the piano X amount of years before I could go do the organ. Well, I never made it to the organ. I took some piano from Johnny, and I took some piano from Douglas Payton, who was a teacher in town, a good teacher. But the trouble was, I could listen to him play it, and I could play it by hearing it way faster than I could read it, and there was a stumbling block.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And it's still a stumbling block. My reading is pathetic. So, you know, that's something you have to keep constantly working at. Read. You know, that's part of why Brandon says he likes teaching, because it keeps his reading up. You know, Brandon Hudspeth's the guitar player in Levittown.
Yeah.
He teaches he's got a bunch of students. And, so he's, you know, he's way above the bar as far as his musical understanding, and as far as like the bands that play around town. He's, you know, he can hang with the jazz cats, whereas I'm not. I'm gonna go and listen. You know?
Yeah, reading is a big one, especially in a lot of our big scene with the blues scene. There's not zero people that read, but it's not very many. You know, I mean, they're all ear guys, which is good in some ways, because all the classical people aren't ear people. You know, and they would pee their pants up on stage. You know.
Well, I took piano lessons, and then I sang in church growing up. And my mom sang every Sunday. She had this ladies trio, and they would sing. And they would sing all the funerals for all the oldies that passed and everything. So I was constantly around music of some sort like that.
Yeah.
Never really had it at home per se, but at church I was there all the time. And so, like I said, that developed my ear. And I guess I just had a knack for hearing.
Right.
Like the first bass line I learned lick for lick was off of ZZ Top's Tres Hombres, I think, Master of Sparks. It's a great bass line.
Yeah,
and it was
fun.
the first. I had an 8-track, and I had this little. My brother had bought me a little Music Master, the little Fender short scale bass, Redwood, and so, you know, boom, ba-do don't, boom, ba-do da do do down down. Great.
Yeah, sure.
So
that's fun.
That one, and I think Peter Frampton, "Show Me the Way" was an early lick for lick. You know, that was an accomplishment for me to get a song lick for lick. Like, oh yeah. And like the guys in my garage band, the rhythm guitar player, he would constantly goof up because he's like, "You're freaking me out. You're playing it just like the record." And I was like, "Well, are we supposed to be trying to do that? You know?"
Why is that freaking you out? I mean, it should be freaking me out when I screw it up.
It was cool and it sounded good.
Yeah, that's cool. Like, probably made you feel good.
Oh, that's good. Somebody sent me a picture of myself back in that garage band number 3. I call it. I can't remember the name of that one.
Kind of freaked you out, huh? The picture.
Yeah, I was like, oh god, I was a kid. Had my Strong Heart Dog Food T-shirt on. Yeah.
That's cool, man. I can tell for me, in the blues scene especially, I can tell the people that I gravitate towards are people that typically either have had some kind of sort of training, or the people that have done the ear work. Like it sounds like that when you were a kid, like, and throughout you've been listening like the whole time, and have kind of a richer, deeper understanding of music than just, you know, doing blues scale all day, you know. And
right, sure.
People like the Dave Hayeses, Paul Greenlee, you know, I tend to gravitate towards them. And Brandon, I don't know him that well, but I would definitely get along with him very well.
They all teach, and they all, you know. That's why I don't teach anymore. I used to give lessons, beginning lessons, you know. And I had a rough experience with a young girl that I couldn't get her. She couldn't get it. She just couldn't get it.
Yeah.
And I kind of just gave up.
Yeah. Do you mean like her like she just literally couldn't play it, or it was like attitude, or
I think she was challenged somewhat.
Okay. Yeah.
And her parents really wanted her to make some sort of breakthrough in there, and I gave it a few months, and she couldn't get the basic anything.
Yeah.
Like just basic anything. Like, and I just.
That's tough.
I can't do it. I gave up. That's bad of me to give up, but I did.
Yeah.
I actually was contacted some time ago by some guys that I gave lessons to, and showed them Nirvana songs and whatnot. You know, this is 90 something.
Right.
And they're playing the music still.
Yeah. How's that make
awesome.
you feel? Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, that's real cool.
Yeah. Because they were like, they wanted to be not necessarily punk rockers, but original music, whatever the term alternative got coined later.
You're right.
But
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, because I teach a lot. I got my own students and stuff, and that's always a tough thing. And my problem is always twofold. I mean, if you don't learn any technique, you just can't even play. I mean, you got to learn that, like you were talking with that girl. I mean, you got to learn the fundamentals of this is a strumming pattern, this is where the chords are. Like, you got to get them the basics, and that helps a lot. But there's also kind of that motivation factor, and I found, at least in the blues scene, that the motivation is no problem. They have fun all the time, the fun part, and then all the work, and you got to find the happy medium in the middle. And I know that anybody, we're always trying to bring the classical people this way, and always trying to bring like the blues and country guys this way, where they can like do some scales and do, if they would just do some actual like shedding, they would be killer, because they already have the motivation. But we just kind of got to get them over there, and a lot of teachers, I think, what happened to you, where they didn't just have the patience for it, or it was a number of things, or kids were giving them ridiculous attitude, or, and they're like, I'm not getting paid enough for this kid to give me dirty looks.
Yeah.
This is not working, so I don't know, that's something that was always funny to me. And it's because I came from this side, right? I've always had fun, but I came from the classical world, and it's been interesting to meet a lot of guys like yourself in the blues scene that are way on the fun side. You guys have so much fun at all the jams, and you can see it in everybody's face.
Have a good time all the time is our motto.
Yeah,
Spinal Tap. It's like, blues is folk music at its core, and you either accept it for what it is and dig it, or you don't, and that's cool. If you don't dig it, I get it,
Yeah.
But I've just always, I played in all kinds of bands, rock bands, everything, but never been in a straight up country, what we used to call a hat band. Never did that.
A hat band.
A hat band, yeah. Back in the day.
A tassel band.
Yeah. And so, but I always, like, even when I was doing original rock and roll, I was playing guitar in a college rock band in the 90s. I still played bass and blues gigs on the side. There's a great band from Joplin area. It was called Smoot Mahooty, and they were an R&B band. Had a great saxophone guy. He could do the Roshan Roland Kirk 2 saxophones at once. And play parts.
Yeah, wow.
Bob Macy, he was a great guy. He's passed. A lot of my older mentors have passed, and so that's kind of a bummer. But
Yeah. Come on, now you're the mentor.
Yeah, I'm the old guy now. Life goes on. Hopefully. But you were talking about pulling from different sides of the classical or whatever. I have a friend that I grew up playing with, Ann Walser. Her name's Annie Piani. Okay, she can play the blues like nobody's business, and she can sit down and read the Messiah.
Yeah.
So, and that's a rare thing. I found. You've either got ear people or readers, and and we've got people that can improvise and people that cannot
Yes,
improvise.
yeah.
And so she's got it going on, you know, because she plays really good blues, like on the piano. I play bass lines a certain way because of her left hand. Because when I play with her, I'd have to, like, I was used to playing trios where I was free to play a lot, you know, guitar, bass, drums,
Right.
Steve Ray Vaughan kind of stuff, you know, and so, but when I play with her, some pianos have a dominant left hand, some don't. That's why sometimes I'd rather play with a B3 guy. But I like both. You know, I'm not saying, you know, one or the other, but when I play with her, I go 1-6 instead of 1-3.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Because of the way she plays, you know. But that's always
talk about that with that dominant left hand, because that's a big deal with
the bass player and the keyboard guy can butt heads. If you know, I get it. You know, you play bass on the keyboard because you're the guy. You know, if you're playing by yourself, especially all the time. You know, but if you're in an ensemble thing, I would think that maybe comp some chords with your left hand. Let the bass player play the bass. That's just me talking.
Yeah.
Because I'm a bass player, and I'm like, dude, we're like fighting. You know.
You think instead of here, they should be here?
Yeah,
you think
like
they maybe should come up an octave a little bit?
Doing a solo or whatever, fills or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And but you know that just comes with depends on what you're playing.
Yeah.
Really, you know. Listening is key. You know, that's a basic fundamental thing that has to be learned, and some learn it faster than others. You know.
And then some never.
It's key. I mean, it's like that's the thing. Listen to everybody else. Yeah, you can at the jams. It's easy to tell who's listening and who's not. Like, okay, pay attention. You know, work with me here. You know?
I like that. I know in regards to piano and bass, how they can clash on each other if they're just sitting down here, especially if they're just doing these big octaves and crap, you know, they're just clashing with the bass. And I know sometimes that happens too with, in my band when I've said this on the show before, when I had a piano and a guitar player, they would muddy each other up too. And I didn't necessarily tell them this because the guys that I played with kind of knew this already, but I had the piano would kind of do the chords, and then the guitar player would kind of do like sort of, I call it like melody comping, where he's not doing chords and he's doing little riffs here, and those like cut through like crazy, and then the piano's like filling the stuff out, and they were able to cut both through. You know, and I know that's a huge problem when you have pianos and bands, because they're just,
if you're all just improvising and whatnot, you know, that's. If you've got your parts worked out, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But if you're setting in or everybody's just jamming, you know. Now, my thing, I have a pet peeve with some people that come to the jams and they, I've got a few of these, because it just comes with the territory. Like, some people perceive jams, like a blues jam, as an open mic type situation. And that's cool, but you know, guys will show up with an acoustic guitar and no way to plug it in. They can't do battle with the drums and the bass, and they can't. It's useless, you know. And so, but then there's people that come up and they want to. Okay, what do you got? Oh man, I'm just gonna make some stuff up. No, no, you're not. You're gonna play a song. You got a song. You got something that will go with it. Now, if you're scatting, you know, blues on the 3-chord form, okay.
Yeah.
We'll give you one and see how it goes. You know, but you might just get the hook. I mean, if it's really bad. I mean,
what happens during those moments?
Well, we look at each other and smile and laugh, and then we'll end it when we want to end it. Usually, like especially if it's a certain drummer, then I'll remain nameless. He'll just go, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
You know, because sometimes they can just, like, well, because it's easy. You get up there and your adrenaline is pumping. If you don't play it, we play all the time. So it's second nature to be behind the microphone.
Yeah.
You know, but if you don't do it a lot, you're excited, and your adrenaline's pumping, and you tense, and you get in the tunnel vision, and you
it's intimidating.
Get the flow, and you're like, and then it goes on and on and on, and everybody in the crowd's going next. So it's like sometimes you just got to give them the hook. But the people that just want to make stuff up, oh, it's a jam, we're just going to jam. No, you need to be prepared if you're going to show up to the jam.
Yeah.
At least be prepared to, and ours are blues centric.
Sure.
We do play some country, we do play some rock, some whatever. If we can hang, if it's there's some guys that show up with the same 4 or 5 rock songs every week, and that's cool. If we can play them, I've butchered many a song,
Hey, don't be talking about me, okay? I'm just kidding. Don't be talking about me. Go showing up the same song.
No, well, I'm bad about that too.
Yeah.
I have a little folder I drag around now. Yeah. I want to get an iPad and buy that On song.
Yeah.
That's a powerful app. I looked at it the other day, and I was like, that's worth buying.
Yeah.
That's an app worth spending money on.
Yeah. So the jams. This is kind of one of the main 3 topics that I'm doing this show about.
Okay.
Or the purpose for me wanting to do this show is talking about those moments where the guy gets up there and the whole audience hears it, all the jammers hear it, the house band hears it, the owner hears it, and it's just like this. That jammer's gonna talk about you guys are being dicks. That's how they're gonna. That's the perspective they have.
Of reality.
And then you're not. I won't put words in your mouth, but the argument that I would say is more hardcore. That you're at our jam right now. Kind of a thing.
Yeah, this is my house.
This is my house. There are people out here. You're on a stage. And so that the standard is the stuff that I find really fascinating. What is the, and I'm just putting a rhetorical question out here, what is the standard for getting up at a jam, and the protocol and etiquette. And one example that I heard that, I don't remember who it was, Kavanaugh, when he was on the show, he was talking to me about an Arkansas jam, and they were, they let you get up there one song, and if you suck, they chop you, and they'll literally tell you, that was all right, man, you should, go home and work on your stuff and come back. I mean, they're kind of real straight up with you, and they don't really care.
Well,
and one more example is when you have a invite only. That would be another.
Yeah,
that'd be another
we've done some of those.
Solution to that problem.
We don't call it a jam though.
Yes.
We'll call it a showcase or something.
Yeah. So what do you think about that kind of standard thing where you have this?
Well, Frank at Knuckleheads, he set down our house rules 9 years ago when we started. Okay, 3 songs or 20 minutes, whichever comes first. We usually just do 3 songs, because 3 songs.
Yeah, that's about it.
And that's about it. That's about it, really. 3 songs. That's that I can think of right off the top of my head, as far as rules or a set standard.
Right.
Now there are lots of different variations on that theme in different areas. Because sometimes, like the country jammers, are a little different. Like country songs are different. Like the country solo thing. You get half of what or even maybe we're used to stretching.
Two rounds or 3 rounds.
Yeah, 2. Yeah, give me. I'm not done talking here, or whatever. But man, you gotta speak your piece. And get out and wait for the next.
I don't like that. I don't like that all this half solo crap. What is this?
Well, it's it's a different type of music, different musical culture, so to speak.
I know Charlie Parker said in jazz, you do about a page, you have your page tune, and you do, but he was like more than 4 rounds, and you're just practicing. Right. I thought that was a good rule. He's like, man, if you just keep rolling, because the jazz guys will sit there, they'll wait for you to get done. They're not going to cut you off. Right. They're going to wait because they've got etiquette. They're watching. They're listening. And so
there's a few singers that kind of bug me because they'll cut me off in the middle. I mean, clearly, I am not finished.
Yeah.
And then they'll start singing. Mm-hmm. Now, I've accidentally done that to people.
Sure.
I may have done it to you last night, but
I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, dude, really? Mm-hmm. I was in the middle of something here. You're not listening. It goes back to listening. Mm-hmm. Hudspeth is great at. I know when this solo's over because he'll ties it up in a nice little bow at the end.
Fades it back down or something. Yeah.
Sometimes I'll accidentally cut him off, but he's like, whatever.
It's another song to him. Probably another day. But yeah, I'm just really always fascinated by that, and I've said this on the show before because I'm fascinated by the psychology of that moment when you have a person is doing something that night, or a person is this is their 17th time in a row at your jam, and they're doing the same crap they've done every single time, right. And what I think is really funny that I want to kind of have enough balls to get out and kind of realize that this thing is the elephant in the room right now, and what all of us are doing is we're going back to the back of the bar and then we bitch about that guy, and nobody ever calls him out, and that's the stuff that I think just my age is prevents me from having any real impact if I were to go talk to that person, but maybe I'm not saying this guy, but maybe somebody like a Paul Greenlease who has massive status in town. He's a very good player. He has some reputation. He
can play anything.
He can play anything. Would he have enough? Enough. I call it muscle. Would he have enough muscle to come up and kind of,
So you need to do something.
Yeah, or whatever the situation is. Your amp's at 8 right now, and we're all at 3. The loudness
and constant struggle.
Yeah.
We were too loud Sunday from the get. And I was like, I didn't really notice. I was excited that we had Randy playing drums, Randy McAllister, this guy we tour with, and we were like, "Why don't you play the jam, man? I'll give you some more cash to get home on back to South Dakota and whatnot." And so he said, "Yeah, sure." And I go, you'll play the first set with us, and then there'll be some drummers. You won't have to play that much. We only had 2 drummers all day. But I go back to get a snack, and the lady in the snack counter is like, "You guys are loud today." It's like, "Really? Okay." And then Mary, the bartender, the owner, she's like, "I can't hear you." It's like, "Oh, really? Okay." So dial it down a little bit, and that was just because once the jam starts, we usually start at a pretty good level. I'm vocal centric. I want the vocals to be loud. I don't want them covered up with any. Right. I hate reverb. I hate delay. I hate in a bar, like a club setting. If you've got your production worked out and you've got a sound guy and blah blah blah, okay. But if it's just I can't stand hearing reverb between songs.
Yeah. Why are you even talking right now? Because we can't hear you.
And as far as roots music, most of the songs tell a little tale. So I want that tale to be understood.
Yeah.
So I use the PA. For me, I don't sing loud. I don't have a loud voice. Some guys, like Randy, our drummer guy that played with us, he walks out in the crowd and sings without a mic. And he's got a huge voice. Yeah. People freaked out on it Sunday. It was great. He stood up. He blows world-class harp. And he sang "Raining in My Heart," the Slim Harpo. Everybody's like, "Oh my God!" He didn't take a walk, but he did the night before. And we were a couple of nights before. We were in down by Tampa at this festival, and he took a stroll out in the crowd and went way in the back. I was like, I could barely hear him singing. I was trying to, because without the drums, I was having to count. It was so tough.
Yeah.
But I don't know where I went.
That's all right. Yeah. But yeah, so I've just been always the jams are such a big part of our scene, you know. I mean, there's probably I just put on my website a list of all those jams in town, and there's like 15 of them.
It fluctuates.
You know, I mean, between the jazz and rock and Irish music and blues and there's a lot of them, and it's a big part of the scene. And I know because I like talking about this kind of band psychology kind of stuff, I've had many conversations with a whole bunch of people about this. That's why I wanted to do the show, because might as well record it. You know, I always sit here and talk to people after the show anyway, but that kind of stuff has always kind of fascinated me about just kind of on stage etiquette and people listening and not playing over other people, and singers coming up and going like, okay, let's do this song. Well, what key? Oh, I don't know. You know, that kind of, you know, and I've said this on the show before, the word that really annoys me the most in music is clueless. That's the word, that's the concept. Clueless, you know, like just people being clueless really drives me nuts. You know, in any way, the not knowing what key your song is in, playing volume of 8 instead of 3, playing over other people, playing over their solos, you know, all that kind of cluelessness really drives me nuts.
That all goes back to listening. Okay, listening, being aware, lay out until you know what's going on. If you don't know what's going on, lay out. You know, learn to that's one thing. Robin Ford is one of my fave modern blues guitar guys. He likes silence. You know, sometimes silence speaks way more than 100 notes. You know, so it just, those kind of things go back to listening. One of my favorite times was like a few summers ago. We were out on the deck outside, and these girls come up and wanted to sing. We're like, okay, what you got? Blah, blah. I don't remember what the song was. They both had their phones out, and it's like, oh, suddenly it's live band karaoke. You know, that's not really how we like to roll.
You're right.
We did it. And it was funny. People laughed. You know, they weren't very good.
Again, don't be talking about me. I had my thing last night. You saw my little notebook trying to remember. Can't you see? I'm just joking.
Well,
stop talking
about an iPad for myself. But I mean, these girls were clearly, you know, clueless. You know, but that's okay. It's Sunday, and it's like you got to relax sometimes and just roll.
Right.
You know, because we're there to have fun, number one, and to entertain. I say so much stupid stuff on the microphone. Sometimes Brandon just looks at me like, "What's wrong with you?"
Yeah. Well, there's a lot wrong with all of us.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
But that's just something that I wanted to do the show about and ask people about how they felt about cluelessness in general, and the best argument, and I can't remember who said this, which guy on the show, but the best argument I've heard because I want to take more of a hardcore attitude about that. You know, I want to make it about, you know, if you know, this is for people who deserve to be up here right now, kind of an attitude. And the counter argument, because I like debating, the counter argument to that, the best one that I've heard is, imagine you have a guy who's like 60 years old and he just retired to play music, and now I'm going to stop his dream. How dare I do that? And I'm like, that's a good argument, I thought. I thought that, you know, I don't agree with it, but it's some kind of argument. Who am I to stop this guy from having fun up here right now, just because I have a stick up my butt to make things perfect, you know, like, you know.
Well,
it's
that part of that blurred line between what is an open mic and what is a jam session. People don't know, and they don't know. It's okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Know? It's like a lot of musicians bag on karaoke. I was like, well, man, you know, not everybody can get a band. It's cool. If they sing, they want to go sing.
Right.
There you go. There's a microphone. Typically, KJs drive me crazy because they've always got lots of reverb and lots of delay, and like, turn that crap off, you know. Let the person's voice come out if they've got a real voice, because you know there are some great karaoke singers.
Yeah.
I don't go hang out much at them, but
And you'll see that too with the people like this happens a lot at Jerry's Bait Shop. You know, theirs is almost a live band karaoke kind of thing.
See, that's cool. I've never made that scene, and I always kick myself because I never met any of those people and got to hang out with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I never got to know Tyson before he left, Tyson Leslie, you know, and he was part of the Jerry's Bait Shop.
And Scotty's something else, you know. Scotty maybe he's out of control.
I don't know that guy very well at all.
But my point is that the people that have those vocals, I mean, you'd be surprised with some of those people that get up with the words, and they're great singers. They just forgot this last stupid verse, you know, or they just need the first 3 words of that last verse, and then they're good. You know,
if I don't have the first line, I'm screwed.
Yeah. And once you get it, isn't that
play that solo and play another solo.
And once you get it, isn't that crazy how our memories work? You get you know.
Weird. It's weird. I did something last night that I hadn't sang in a long time. I was like, yeah, let's do this. And it was like, oh, crap. What's that verse? Or okay, it's time to end.
Or you sing the second verse again.
Yeah. Third verse, same as the first.
Yeah, exactly. But, well, cool, man. So another question I had for you is, I know you've been in quite a few bands, and the other question that I wanted to do this show about is kind of again, sort of like band psychology of, I'm always fascinated by the relationships in bands, because to me, and I've said this on the show a ton, I think that's the number one reason why people quit bands or they break up, is because people just start arguing with each other about whatever. And so what do you... Like, how do you think people should handle when people have differences in a band? You know, there's a lot of ways that people try to handle it, you know, but like, have you ever had a...
You have to have a good rapport with each person, and you're just not going to always have that. I mean, I've been in bands where people screamed at each other, and then it was okay. And then you went out and killed it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like any relationship, any marriage or whatever you want to call it, domestic partnership or whatever, it's give and take, and you have to communicate. If you don't communicate, there's going to be a problem. You know, and you can just show up and do the gig, and then it's another gig. But it is tough to keep a band together. My friend just lost her whole band.
Yeah, well.
You know, they just all, I don't know why or what for, but she's like, my guys just bailed on me. I was like, oh.
That's tough.
Call me if you need me, you know.
You're right, yeah.
Try to help. I don't know.
Right, yeah.
If I can make the gig, I'll try, you know. But it is really hard because people have their own vision for their art, you know.
Yeah.
So, oh man, we should be a ska punk metal, you know, or we should be whatever.
You know, yeah.
We had this made up band once. What was it? All redheaded Irish girls doing reggae versions of Bob Wills and the Texas Playboys. That would be a great name.
It would be unique.
Yeah. And now you see these. What is this band coming to Knuckleheads? It's like some kind of oh man, the AC/DC McDonald's.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard of that.
And then there's this clown Elvis. There's an Elvis clown guy, like Clownvis.
Clownvis?
Yeah,
oh goodness gracious.
Like yeah, I don't know what it is. It's
oh my gosh.
It's, you know, what was the old reggae band that did all Led Zeppelin reggae songs?
Oh, I don't know. Oh yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
They're great.
Yeah.
You know, it's cool.
Yes. Yeah, and so
if it's working for you.
Yeah, and like, was there a moment that you had in a band that you learned like a really good lesson from, like even musically?
Yes. I had a horrible experience in the 80s. We had a manager. We had a rock band, good band, you know, kind of radio rock, REO Journey Wagon, Great White Lion Snake. you know.
REO Journey Wagon.
Yeah, you know, we didn't really play any REO songs. That just works well. We did lots of Journey. My friend Rollo made up the REO Journey Wagon.
Yeah, that's funny.
And not to be confused with REO Speed Dealer, who got sued by REO Speedwagon. I still got one of their stickers. But, okay, so with this manager, he had a band out on the road. He owned a club in Joplin, Missouri. And he had a band out on the road making money, you know, doing well. And he's, you know, you can do the same thing with you, blah, blah, blah. So these two guys in the band were from Chautauqua, Kansas, a little town. And they were hometown boys. So they got these bankers to loan them $32,500. And it didn't go well. And there were 7 people on the note to begin with. There ended up being 3, and I was one of the 3 because I was young enough to still be at home. My parents wouldn't let me weasel out of it or file bankruptcy or anything like that.
Wow.
You know?
Wow.
And so I had to pay the share, a big share, and I learned a valuable lesson. Don't go into debt with somebody like that.
Wow.
Because it was just a train wreck, you know. They pulled in the driveway with this antique bus and a crappy PVPA they bought from, and it was like, you bought this? I almost cried. And then the first gig out of the box, trip to Memphis, it broke down. And it's a horror story. It's long.
Yeah,
I won't go into it.
Yeah, wow.
It's great.
That's
it's a great
else.
story.
Yeah.
Cautionary tale. You know, I got taken advantage of by this roadside mechanic, and it was just one bad trip after another.
Well, there's your story. We were talking about a gig story. I mean,
Yeah,
that's one
first
that you
story
can
out of the
learn.
box. The band was called Games, Gamze. Okay, Games. It was the '80s. Always with X's and Z's. You know. So
Wow, yeah, that's interesting, man.
Yeah,
Was it just everything fell apart, or was it kind of a manager situation?
Well,
where...
the manager was kind of shady. He had a successful rock club in Joplin. We played there regularly.
But it was really just bad decisions. It sounds like with the getting the bus
bad luck
and
bad luck.
Yeah.
Really, it was just just doomed.
Yeah.
Just ill-fated, which should have been the name of the band. Which there was a band called Ill-Fated.
Yeah, that's funny.
It's like, man, yeah. So, we blew the engine coming home from Memphis, pulled over. The tow truck took us to this guy. Yeah, fix it, no problem. We sit in the motel. The bank sends us another $1,200. So we get this 2 days later. We get this engine, this van. This truck. This bus was made in the 50s. Okay, it was not a diesel. So we're chugging down the road. It's not running right. It's like, so on the next way to the next gig, that engine blows. So the drummer and his big brothers all load up and go back to West Memphis. They find that the guy had taken an engine out of an ice cream truck, steam cleaned it and painted it Ford blue and put it in our bus. And this is the topper. He was up on murder charges for killing his brother. So it's like, okay, boys, we're out. Okay?
Wow.
We're out.
Wow.
So, now, this is before I learned Webb Wilder, the great rock and roller from he's a B-movie actor and a rock and roller from Nashville. He's got huge voice, great, like horn rim, brushed chrome glasses and a fedora. You don't join a band, man. You join a van, man. So, but that's just the one thing. Then our singer quit, and then we had the succession of singers quitting.
Yeah.
The one singer we had took every penny we had because he had a PA and a truck and everything. And it was just, we had a chance to go to Florida to play with a guy that I grew up with that played Southern rock, and that would have worked great. But the bank threatened to call the note if we left town, like we were a flight risk. But
yeah, wow.
Ancient history, lesson learned.
So that's something that I've been thinking about a lot in regards to like this. I consider it like these 3 or 4 levels of kind of band, right? You have the guys that are doing absolutely nothing. They're in their basement jamming with some guys, but they never really ever gig. They're just kind of screwing around. Then you have a whole bunch of bands, like the majority of the bands that are scrounging around to get this for 5 people, get this 250 to 300, right? Then you maybe have the next level of people that are able to get that 800 to 15 kind of for some gigs, and they got a little bit of following. And then you have the other guys that are in that 3,000, 6,000 kind of range where there's some good players. They're doing some pretty big shows. And then you have like the Aerosmith guys, above that. And
really famous people.
The really famous people, John Mayer and a million other people,
I called Samantha and Danielle almost famous.
Yeah, they'd be in that kind of second rung, they're close.
They're making money, they're doing well.
Yes, and
making an impact.
So, like, I'm always wondering what it takes, because most of us, and I'll speak on myself for this, is that all of us are in that, like, because any of us can go get this 250 to 400 kind of gig, all of us can. There's tons of them in Kansas City. If you go back,
you got the people that gripe about the scabs that'll go play for nothing.
Yes, or go play for less than 250, and any of us can go con a bar owner into doing a gig for that. You can kind of talk your way into that. But what I'm curious about is getting to that next one where you can kind of guarantee yourself that 5 to 800, 5 to 1,000 as a band, and so. I'm trying to figure out how to do that, but all of us had this dream to be the Aerosmiths and be the AC/DCs, but when people talk about, CCR, how they're ridiculously bankrupt. They don't have any of their rights to any of their own music. And then these horror stories with managers and these horror stories with buses breaking down. It like that's one of those things that you kind of start thinking really critically, and then you wonder, that's been my dream, but do I even want that? Right. You know what I mean? It's kind of this thing about like, well, I couldn't go on the road because I have students. I'm like, dude, you wouldn't go on the road to get like, literally 1,500 a show and play 4 months of gigs. That'd be a year's salary easy.
Yeah.
You wouldn't do that, really, Rob? But I'm just at this point where I don't even know if I even want to go for it now. Do I even want that?
It's hard, and the road is hard. And it's harder now than it's ever been because. The DIY world is turned everything. It's good and bad. You've got people that are gonna break through because they're great at networking. They're great at business. Mm-hmm. They've got somebody on the team. It takes a village, certainly, to get you to another level. And you got to be willing to do the work. And I'm a terrible webmaster. I don't update my stuff enough. I'm just like, chronic underachiever type. But because I'll sit at home and I'll play my guitar instead of, I'm terrible at time management. So that's why,
Pick me.
It's like, it's a job. It's just like, I see writers a lot, a lot of writers. They get up in the morning and they write first thing, and then they do whatever else. But that's when they get up, they're fresh, they get going, right. Roddy Crowell's great at explaining the difference between how he knew how to capture songs and write, but writing his book was a whole different animal, a whole different discipline.
Yeah. Writing is actually like...
Right, yes. Yeah. Getting up in the morning,
novel book,
sitting down, and whether you're at the pad or the computer, word processor, you write. But you have to be really persistent. And I have a friend that's booking bands now, and it is brutal. Mm-hmm. No one calls you back. Mm-hmm. It's just constant... Hello. Yeah, we talked. I've got this email. you responded, "Oh yeah," it's just because they've got a business to run. They're busy unless they delegate booking to one of their underlings. That's part of their job, and that's their It's really hard because it's just hard to live life and run your business and be a father, mother, brother, whatever.
Yeah.
It just like every area, it's the same. Just because you're playing music, it's a business, just like the bar owner has a business. Whether you want to treat it like that or not is up to you. And I don't want to sound like Joel Osteen, but it's up to you to make your dream alive.
Yeah. I always find that funny too. That's probably, if I were to give advice to any younger people, that would be my advice: is get a hold of your business side. All of us play music beautifully. There's 70 bands in town that are plenty qualified to go play shows, and they'll be good and whatever. But you go look at their website and it's crap. I mean, they don't have any of their shows up there. They have they're 3 drummers behind on their picture. That kind of stuff.
And it's just so hard.
None of us ever get trained like that.
I've been trapped by the webmaster trap several times now. Like some guy will design your site and then he abandons you. WordPress, okay. Cool. I kind of know it now, but I kind of still don't. I don't want to know how to code. It's not my bag. But I can drag and drop. Right. So I picked Bandzoogle for my personal website. It's Facebook on steroids. It's easy.
Yeah.
And I like the calendar on there because once the date passes, it drops off your calendar. Like some other, like a Wix site or something, your calendar will be there, but all your old dates will be there. And some people like having their old dates.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah. You can show that. I mean, we've been playing 3 years. You can go look at all the dates, and Mine's like that too. It's a do-it-yourself kind of thing. You have to go pay somebody to set it all up, kind of at first, but after a while, it's kind of you just click this and click that. There's no code, You just But that's what I would tell people is at school, for instance, you take 4 semesters of theory, right? 2 full semesters of music history, right? You take all this music appreciation and you do all these classes and then when you get out, you can play music like something else, and then you're like, okay, now how do I get a gig again?
Right.
Wait, what do I say to this club owner? Wait, how do I say jokes to an audience again and have them even care when I get up on stage? Because, boy, you play music beautifully, but you know what? Everybody's talking to their friend because you're not captivating. The charisma and all that.
What's your EPK look like? Electronic press kit.
Yep. Wait, what's a spreadsheet again? Wait, you mean keep track of what I earned this year? What are you talking about? That's the kind of stuff of what I think all of us are really bad at.
The whole web thing is a full-time job. If it's done properly.
Yeah.
Here I am, it's 2 a.m, I'm trying to learn Hollywood Fats Licks.
You're right.
I'm not working on my EPK.
Yeah.
So there's that. But you get to the point where sometimes it just clicks. You got a magical thing. And that's what will bump you up automatically without trying, without having to struggle.
Yeah.
And even those people that have a magical thing, they still have to work.
Yeah. Or
they got somebody on their team. Like I said, it takes a team.
Yeah.
You get the right people in place, and it can happen for you. Samantha's got a great manager. So he's really doing a good job with her. I think. I don't know. I don't talk to her every day or anything.
Sure. Yeah.
I see her once in a while.
Yeah, but it's good for him too. That's why it's kind of tough because it's all selfish for a lot of people at the end of the day. What's good for her is good for him. What's good for him is good for her. Yeah.
It's a team. That's the whole key. Communication. Be a team. Work with each other. Don't fight. If you're fighting and you're not progressing, it's time to figure something else out.
Yeah.
If somebody needs to go, they need to go. It's just,
See, and I was asking, I can't remember who it was, but Andre Reyes, that's who it was, but we were talking about is that what you just said right there. Sometimes they just need to go, or sometimes you need to, have this conversation that is a little bit of a hard truth, or a hard conversation that you need to have. And sometimes people talk about that being like cruel, and
It is.
I totally disagree that that's why we need to avoid it. You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
they think,
if
and
it's necessary, it's necessary.
yeah, the jams is a perfect another example. You're kind of shooing this guy off the stage. Is that a cruel thing right now? I would disagree. I just would disagree if it's cruel or not.
Great story if you want to hear it.
Yes, I do want to hear it.
This is I don't know, over a year ago, a guy shows up, and he's got quite the colorful entourage with him. Okay, he's got like a cape. It's a duster, but it's more like a cape kind of thing. But it's a duster, really. Okay. He, you can tell he thinks pretty highly of himself. I mean, he looks pretty rough, pretty weird. They're like, where do these people come from? I mean, for me to say somebody's weird, come on. All right? I'm weird enough as it is. But, okay, so he gets up there, and, I mean, he's like, yeah, he's like all about it. And he's like, we're not effing around. He says that on the microphone. Like, and everybody's just like,
oh my God,
dude, who, what, and he plays a song, and it is bad. It's just bad. And he's like, you want to hear one more? And the whole crowd in unison was like, no. It was like, we were just like, oh my God. It was
I've never seen that before.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It was the greatest thing I've ever seen. I mean, he like got mad, pulled out his cord and threw it down and stomped off stage, and everybody's like, yeah! It was the craziest thing ever at the time. It was great.
Yeah, so that again, I would ask the question, what if that guy has any kind of self-awareness, even that much self-awareness afterwards, because he's pissed at the time, you can't ask him to deal with that right then.
No, he has no self-awareness.
Right, and if a person were to have a moment like that, and maybe a week or something goes by, and they start to kind of put it together, and they're like, wow, wow, and they maybe think back to a couple of things they said, like an F-bomb on the mic or something,
Oh, no.
and like, if that were to happen, I would then make a very strong argument that was not cruel. Like, and or somebody, like, this happened in school a lot, where a guy would tell us, like, when we took a theater class, he's like, man, some of these kids that come out, I tell them, I'm like, I don't think you're gonna make it, like, as a professional on Broadway. He's like, you know what I did? I spent $35,000 and 15 years of my life chasing auditions and practicing, and what I could have done is, I was sort of decent at, like, an accountant or something, and I could have been an accountant, done little pitiful theater things to kind of keep my love going, but I could be sitting with 125 in the bank instead of broke poor, so everybody was like, oh, how dare he say that? And I'm like, man, you got to see it from a different perspective. Was that cruel? And so I don't know. I've got a different perspective on that. I love to hear what people's interest.
Well, I try to encourage everyone. I try not to be a jerk to anybody, and I know I have been, just because life happens, but like, I always, here lately in the past, I don't know, couple of years, I preface it, well, okay, dude, I'm the old man that tells everybody how to live, okay? All right? When you sing, I did this Sunday, I go, when you sing, don't cup the microphone. Don't cup it with your hand. Well, yeah, I do that because of my harmonica. Well, when you're playing harp is one thing, but when you're singing, don't, because it sounds like you're singing in a toilet paper tube, and there's nothing I can do on the EQ to fix that.
Yeah.
It just sounds bad.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh. So I don't know if it's, he's been doing it the whole time. He's another guy that I don't know his name. He's first time I ever met him. Cool guy. He got up and made up words as he went on it, but it was at least structured in a three chord context. So people liked it.
And then he looks at you and goes, "How come this sounds like crap? Your sound system is jacked up, man. What's wrong with this? Fix this for me."
Right there.
Stop covering the mic.
Okay, that's a bad habit, I guess. I go, yeah. I go, that's when they said, I'm the old man that tells everybody how to live. So I like.
I'm jealous.
Like
I want to be the old man.
Like some of the rhythm guitar players and whatnot, or the kids that come up, they'll want to play all bar chords, and I go, dude, don't do that for blues. Okay, now if we were playing Green Day or whatever, right on.
Yeah.
But okay, for blues, you want to play just like the bottom half of the. You don't need to play the bass notes. I'm playing bass.
Yeah.
So play, and there some like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And you did them a favor right there, I would argue. If they're, relatively listening to you and they give you that, oh, and they look down and now they're actually coming at you from a learning attitude as opposed to
what little wisdom I have. I try to pass along where I think it's going to do some good.
Yes.
And if they're receptive.
Right.
If they're like,
yeah,
okay, never mind.
And that's the key right there, is reading when that's going to happen. I think is really the key, because there's me myself. I mean, I know you're the same way. I mean, you could look at this is what I do all day in lessons, right? You go, all right, so I could fix 4 things right now that I heard in about 3 seconds. 4 problems with the song. Which one am I going to pick? How am I going to say it? Do I even need to say it right this second? I can tell this person's pissed. Will they even receive it?
Yes.
Do they want to hear me right now? That's like the art of it, I think, is the...
I have a game I play with drummers, especially drummers that I've never seen before that show up to the jam. I'll approach and, we're tuning up or switching out or whatever. They're getting their thing together. And I was like, what do you want to do? What do you want to play? More often than not, it's whatever, man. You guys just, I'll follow along. And I was like, wrong answer, bro. What the question really should I don't want to say it like that. I don't want to say, what do you play best?
Yeah.
You have 3 songs. What do you want to do? What do you got 3 songs to rock out or whatever. What do you do best? And we'll try to accommodate that. Oh man, whatever. No, it's not going to work, because whatever, we're going to call a Texas Shuffle and you're not going to be able to play.
Right.
And
if they give you like a genre or something that's helpful. I want to play some funky stuff. You're like, all right, so now we have this array of 30 songs, 30
okay,
funk songs.
You want to play funk groove?
All right. Yeah,
that happens.
Yeah, because that happens a lot when the guys get up there, and this is like this is maybe what I was thinking about, like the standards at a jam kind of thing, where somebody gets up there and they'll play. You'll call a shuffle, and then they'll kind of not really do it very well.
It's almost a lost art form.
Yeah,
Texas, Chicago shuffle.
Right, and then the very next song you call funk, and they tear it up. And so you're like, and so that's when you would say, you know what, next time this guy gets up there, if we play some funk songs, he's gonna do good, because we can just tell he's really comfortable. He knows where the bass drum goes, and but that would be a moment at like a Dave Hayes jam, for example, where somebody might pull that guy aside and go, dude, you're a great player. I can tell you tear up this funk, but we unfortunately do about 40% shuffles here, maybe 60% shuffles. You're a great player. If you come back, it would be really cool if you kind of went and worked on your shuffle, and then came back in a month or so, and we'd love to have you. You kind of word it to him like that, because at a blues jam, it's if you can't hang with this random freaking rock song that one guy called, that's one thing. But if you're a drummer and you can't do a shuffle beat at this blues jam, again, this is back to the being kind of harsh. I don't know really what to tell you, right? I mean, is it 50%?
Well, that's when I call it slow blues.
Right, yeah.
If they can't, within the first few measures, I immediately know whether, even sometimes before you even start, if they can play it.
Oh, sure.
I go, okay, I'll look over and go, slow blues. And then play a slow blues, we'll get a feel of how, if they, can keep up or not. Like a lot of guys, they depending on their age, kind of, their drumming style differs.
Sure.
Like a lot of old guys that overplay will want to do all these big roundhouse rolls all the time. It's like, play the beat, bro, please.
Yeah.
Play the song. It's not. We'll give you a drum solo on a song if you want.
Yeah.
But that's they're again. They're up there. Their adrenaline is high. They're not thinking. They're not listening. Yeah. They're animal.
Animal.
So it's all good. Like I said, it's Sunday jam. So roll with it. Next.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but anyway, those are some things that I always love talking to people about because they kind of crack me up how everybody views that, and when I've talked to a lot of the scene, I'll get lots of answers. Some people will say, with the bands and deciding about people that you just agree with or disagree with. Some people say you always need to go with the flow, and then some people say no, screw those guys, go find another band, or jam. The house band is there for the jammers, and you always need to be nice. And then you have other people that'll be like, this is our jam. If they suck, give them the chop. The second song.
We're trying to entertain this crowd.
Yeah, right. So it's just interesting. I'll hear lots of different perspectives on that.
We have a term we use amongst ourselves. Here it is, called jam killers. So we try not to get too many jam killers on stage at once.
Right.
Because it can go downhill really fast.
Oh yeah.
It happens. Just try not to do that. I've been a jam killer myself. First to say. Oops. I played bad music in front of people on lots of occasions through the years.
Sure.
But I'm still trying. But we just try to keep it positive, try to keep it upbeat and light, and no reason to be heavy. That's not our job. Our job is to help people have fun and to forget their problems.
Yeah.
That's why, whether you believe in spirituality or not, music is a gift that is to make people feel better. And so. Yeah,
and I guess last thing I'll say, because we're probably about wrapping up here, is that's one thing that I definitely am starting to realize that I struggle with, is because to me I take such a hardcore attitude towards music, and part of it is my training, in classical, how this isn't fun. This is work. This is practice. You don't want to play like a jackass. You want to play beautifully and have your third finger and your wrist and your pinky this and your thumb that. It's like you're so obsessed with the technique, and when you do that, you realize when you're 30 that you can play people's butts off. Because you focused on that, but remembering that even when I talk about music, it's not even really that fun. I'm like analyzing every stupid little thing, and that's a thing I could work on, I guess. And maybe it's the balance, because some of the blues jammers, they're all like, oh yeah, dude, fun, man. Oh, dude, man, and you're just like, man, you guys suck, dude. You don't even know what you're doing. It's only fun, and they haven't, like you said, they haven't put in any of this work. And so maybe I do need to come over to their side a little bit and calm down about just the whole thing, but maybe lighten up a little bit.
Yeah, it's fun. It can be fun.
Yeah.
You take it's kind of a metaphor for life. You take the good with the bad and you roll with it, and you get up and do it again because that's what you like to do. I'm so, like I said, so comfortable on stage now after all these years. It's second nature. If I'm not up there doing it, that's where there's a problem.
Yeah.
you know. And I don't have any money. I pay the rent,
Right.
you know, but I don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You know.
And that I guess though is kind of where I'm at with everything, is that because I've taken 400 freaking violin lessons, you know, it's like now, just like your idea of I just get up on stage and it's absolutely nothing. So now you don't have to worry about a whole lot at your jam in regards to you playing. You know, mostly people call tunes that you've heard and it's fun and you can really tear them up now. And I personally find at that level, music is more fun because now you can like just shred the crap out of the song.
Yeah.
And so that would be my like counter argument to everybody saying just have fun, dude, is because you've had this many times when you've got your Brandon and you and two other guys on stage, you know, and they are like destroying the song, you know, and it's really fun because it feels different. The whole stage feels different.
The energy you get from the crowd.
The energy you get from the crowd is different, and so that would be my argument too, that these people need to come, you know, more to the practice side, because I find that more fun than the struggle. You know, that's the problem with classical music. The practicing sucks. It's stupid, you know, but after you learn the song and you can just play it, that's when you actually have the fun.
Sure.
The fun isn't, you know, it's the journey. I think you were maybe talking about the journey the other night is the good thing, but the end result is really what's the fun part, you know. And so I don't know, that would I'm trying to.
Well, the energy from the crowd is actually my drug of choice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't party anymore, but it's like that when the band is on and the crowd is in, it's you know, nearly nirvana. I don't know. It's the deal. That's the reason. That money, who cares? It's like that when you play 50 lousy gigs for one really good one, and then it's like, oh, that's why I do this. That's right. Yes. You know, I'm on stage in Louisville, and we're playing with Bill Morganfield, and we've got Bob Margolin, who's Muddy's guitar player, and his harp player. We're playing Muddy Waters' Manish Boy, and you know, it's Muddy Waters' son, his guitar player. It's like, you know, and it just dawned on me while we're doing it, and the crowd is all in.
Right,
it's a street party thing, you know. It's great. And I'm like, this is pretty cool. You know, it's like, all right.
Yeah, and that's maybe the analogy that you could use with the jams that I've definitely noticed from going to 200 some jams since I've been into town. It's that, you know, you go to 10 and 4 of them might be, you know, pretty average. You know, you get up there with an average crew, and then you get another 6 that go really good. You have a real good set, and you got a couple of house band guys and a couple of good jammers, and you have a really good set. And so that might be one of those things where it's not going to happen perfect every time. You know, you get a random
Nothing
good
in
one.
life is perfect every time.
Sure.
So
yeah, that's cool, man.
But that's you know, music is why we do it.
Yeah.
I always say, you know, I play music for free. I get paid to drive and to carry the gear.
Yeah.
And all the other
That's
crap
interesting.
that goes with it. But the actual time on stage, I'd be doing it somewhere, church or wherever, you know, somewhere.
Yeah.
In the street. I befriended a couple of street guys in Key West. And this one cat, I think he needs to be medicated a little bit, but he's out there 2, 3 in the morning playing his songs, and the people are walking by throwing dough in there, and it's like, wow, dude. Good luck.
Yeah, wow.
I bought him some Band-Aids and water and some ibuprofen the other night.
Jeez. Yeah, those guys are.
Just ride up on my bike and listen and sing along with him a little bit.
That's crazy, man. Well, I think that's probably pretty close to it.
Okay.
You guys tell them again what you've been doing. You guys got Levittown.
Yeah, I play bass in Levittown, and I play guitar on my own, and I host a jam at the Hideout 1 or 2 Mondays a month. We rotate now. We've got Blue 88, Coyote Bill, and myself are the jam hosts on Mondays at the Hideout in Gladstone, pointing north. Is that north? I don't know.
I think so.
But
and then Sundays at Knuckleheads
Sundays at
for
Knuckleheads.
years now. Yeah.
And if we're out on the road with Randy McAllister, it's Jan Faircloth and Paul, and sometimes Dave Hayes. Sometimes it'll be maybe Sean.
I think Nick's done one, right? I've seen Nick up there. Nick Schnebelin.
Yeah. Sometimes
I've
Nick.
seen, you know.
We rotate sometimes.
Yeah.
People when we're out on the road.
Yeah. But it's a real good jam. I always have a fun time when I'm there. It's definitely one of the better ones in town.
Knuckleheads is such a great. Frank, Mary have been so good to us, and anytime they can hook us up, they do so. He lets me work there sometimes. I get to stagehand if I'm not got a gig. I'm like, hey Frank, can I clock in? Yeah, be here at 11. You know.
That's nice. Yeah,
it's great. I got to meet some great people.
Oh yeah.
You know, this is really cool.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
This is Jacque Garoutte, and we will, of course, be back again with some more people talking a bunch of music nonsense. So that is the show. Thank you, sir. Yeah, thanks for being here.
Sure.
That's the show. Get out of here. See you guys later.
Late. Be a hard-working American.